What's up guys, today I have another light for you to take a look at here. This is the W100 from COLBOR, and in the email when they sent me the slides they actually asked me to compare towards the X100 from Zhiyun, and also I have the CX100 also from Zhiyun. You guys probably know these lights already. So what I'm going to do in this video is to show you guys this light comparing to this light here and possibly comparing to the CX100. I'm just going to be letting you guys decide between these three lights right here. So what I'm trying to do here is just to show you what this light has, what this light has, and the other one here, right? But of course, when they sent me these lights for me to review, of course, the YouTuber creators, they get to keep this light for free. I don't say for free because making these videos here is a whole lot of work. It takes me a whole day to do that. But anyway, so I get to keep this here for free, but I am as much as a customer as you guys are because, okay, this one I kept it. And then for what I need to do here, one is not enough. So here's the box number one X100, box number two, another X100, and box number three, another X100. So these three here I purchased with my own money, and this one here was free. And the usual disclaimer, COLBOR sent me the slides for me to test and review. I don't get paid to say anything, and this video is not sponsored by COLBOR, and all my words and opinions are my own. Let's start unpacking the COLBOR W100. It comes with a standard cardboard box. Here's the manual. It comes with the light itself, a protective cover for the LED, and the power supply, and the power cable. And that goes for $169 without the battery. The actual battery, you're looking at $100 on top of this. Then we have the X100 for $349, which comes with an actual case, padded, everything protected. It comes with the battery, the light itself, the reflector, power cord, power supply, which is a longer and thicker cable, and also the mesh. And also a heavy-duty ball mount, which accepts 3/8 and 1/4 20. And also comes with the silicone rather than the plastic LED protector because most likely you can forget this in here and this will not get damaged because silicone can withstand very high temperatures. But don't forget that the combo also comes with a full Bowens mount adapter in the package. That's $349 for everything here. Lastly is the CX100, which is the closest approach to this one here as far as coming on the same cardboard box. And this light here includes the battery. This one here does not. And it also comes with the reflector and the diffuser and a USB-C cord. The power supply is purchased separately. On the W100, the power supply comes included with the steel cable for holding the power supply and the Zhiyun lights that come with a mesh for you to hold the power supply. The X100 power supply comes with a thicker and longer cable. The W100 power supply is a more generic, very lightweight, and the cable is a lot thinner, similar to one of those small electronics type of things here. So initially when I got this light here, since the time it was a prototype, everybody knows that these batteries here, they are not actually working after a few charges and all, but I think nobody actually bothers to look for solutions to that, right? So Zhiyun is actually advertising this everywhere on Instagram, on their page, their website. If you purchase an older battery or whatever batch that is, Zhiyun now has a lifetime warranty from the batteries that you purchased right now today, and also the batteries that you purchased a long time ago. So if your battery is defective, you don't have to throw it away. Zhiyun will replace these lights for you free of charge. They don't care when or how you purchase this battery, as long as you have the receipt at least. And COLBOR, I don't believe they have the lifetime warranty that Zhiyun offers. So this is something to counterweight here. I have a vast knowledge with electronics and circuit boards and all. What I guess or what I believe was happening is because when you're actually charging these batteries, for example, if you are in China, you should be okay. And the US, it could be a problem because the board that was in these batteries here previously, it doesn't like the 60 Hertz frequency, which is United States, I guess Canada, Japan, right? 60 Hertz. And China, most Asian countries, they are 50 Hertz. Same way when you record in NTSC, is actually 30 frames per second, and PAL for video is 25 frames per second. You see where I'm coming from, right? So not to worry about it. They will replace the battery, and again, they have lifetime warranty on these batteries, just to get that out of the way. This video I'm going to show you guys the pros and cons of all lights, of course, but with this light here, when I actually opened the box, the first thing that I encountered a problem here was to remove this LED protective cap because it was very difficult to remove, so it was actually stuck here. So I have to insert a mini glasses screwdriver here to fully press down this little plasticky little spring thing here, so the thing was stuck. So I think one of these little tabs here was the ones that was actually troublesome to do here. So just to let you know. As you can see, this is actually a very flimsy, very cheap made plastic little release here. And I think this is gonna break very soon, so be very careful with this here. So I'm gonna put this back and show you here. This is supposed to be releasing very easily, but you have to press it down here, and you can actually feel and hear what's happening. So it's not really smooth. Now the reflector is a little bit better. On the X100 or CX100, the ZY Vega mount, it's a lot smoother. And also the fact that I can actually mount a full Bowens modifier here, which is what I use for. The W100 features their mini Bowens mount, which right now depends on the reflector only and the diffuser. So to my purpose, especially for interviews and tight spaces, I can't rely on just a reflector or a little softbox that they have, because I need bigger modifiers for an interview set. A small softbox, for being a small source of light, is going to give you some shadows, and a bigger modifier is going to give you a nicer and more diffuse light. The X100 and CX100, you can actually install these reflectors similar in size, or even larger reflectors. The W100, as you can see, is more transparent, which gives you less diffusion. And the Zhiyun diffusers, as you can see, they are more dense, they're more milky, provides more diffusion. This light features a larger LED. It has a front glass protector. The Zhiyun X100 also has a glass protection, but it features a smaller LED light. But the light output is identical in brightness, either with this one or that one, and almost this one here. Both of these lights, they have an LCD display. This one here is inside the light, while this one here is on the outside exposed, and also to read this is actually very difficult, and this one here has a larger characters or larger numbers for you to see. So I'm going to start with the construction of the light here. The X100, everything on the side here that you see is made of metal, and including the CX100, which is the budget alternative for the X100, is also made of metal, because they borrow the same case from each other here. And also the material here is better. This is detachable, and this is actually a more rigid plastic here. The W100 is made entirely of plastic, front and back. Now the X100 obviously features the best knobs out of the bunch, because they are very tactile, they're very robust, and they also have the shortcuts. The W100, they're very plastic knobs, but they also have the shortcut features as well. On the CX100, we have the same plastic knobs. There's no shortcuts here, and this light does not feature display. However, it comes with a battery, and to dial the color temperature here, you're going to use the arrows that you see here. So 5600 degrees Kelvin, you just do that. It should be right on the dot. If not, all that's required is just a little bit of a hair here. So yes, I'm a big fan of the shortcuts and the display here, but this light is also a budget light, but again, it comes with a battery that I cannot trade in. And these knobs, they also have a stop. They're not like, spinning forever. So as you can see, there's a 0 here, so the mark is actually right here where my finger is pointing at. So 20% is here, 40%, 60, 80, and 100. Also, I should mention that this light has no effects. It's just the CCT and the brightness. On the CX100, it does not feature Bluetooth, therefore you cannot use the app to control it, and also does not feature any effects, just the brightness and CCT. On the CX100, on the front is the same exact LED found on the X100, also the same heat sink, the same body, and the same fan. Lights like this, they don't have any warning labels on it, because you're going to be mounting this thing on a tripod, and you're not going to be placing this against the table this way, right? So it's a normal light. So a lot of people that I see unboxing this light here, the first time that they get this light, the X100 here, for example, they keep saying that this light is filled with labels of warning, bright little yellow labels here everywhere all over the light. And the reason for that is, don't forget that this is actually a hard drive size of light, and this is a high-powered light being 100 watts, right? So how easy it is for you to accidentally touch the LED here, because these things, especially at 100%, can reach temperatures over 400 degrees Fahrenheit to 280 Celsius, whatever that is. So you can actually risk burning your hands here. Another thing that can happen here, for example, for instance, let's say that you're playing with the light and then the phone rings and then something important, then you panic, go somewhere, and then the light is actually laying on the table and then you leave, right? So what do you think is gonna happen? Fire. Another thing that people can do, place this light near the floor, whether it is a hardwood floor or carpet. This light can actually accidentally bump or tilt down. A child or a pet can easily do that, or somehow the light kind of tilted back on the carpet here, and there you go, fire. Extension cords, for example, there are labels everywhere on that wire. People want to run a 50-foot extension cord with a microwave or hair dryer. You can't do that. So I think it is a very smart idea that Zhiyun puts this here, because they don't want to deal with none of this stuff. If something should ever happen, here's the labels everywhere, so you saw it. Another thing to note here, when they sent me this light, because this is a new light, so they didn't have the other accessories, optional accessories actually in stock. So all I have is the light here, but it's okay because I was actually watching other videos on YouTube, people that actually have the battery, which they got this item sent early to them. But one of the creators that actually has the battery in hands, and I was actually watching his video, he reported that even though the battery is, I believe, 99 watts, and this is a 100-watt light, the runtime that he got from that battery, from this battery here, is between 10, 15 to 20 minutes maximum. Zhiyun has about 30 to 34 minutes runtime with a 100-watt light and this battery here. So I didn't say this because I don't have the battery, but again, that's what they said. And this battery here lasts for about 10, 15, 20 minutes, and this one here between 30 and 34 minutes, depending on the condition of the battery.
This thing drains pretty quickly because 100 watts is a lot of power. So you're only going to be looking at 10 to 20 minutes at most. Even though on paper you'd say 99 watt hours and 100 watt light, you should be able to get 1 hour out of it, but there's just too much heat, too much load, and this drains faster than that.
The X100, the combo version, comes with the battery and a bunch of other things. And this one here also comes with the battery. As a matter of fact, you cannot remove the battery, but they both come with a battery. And this light here, it comes with the light itself and the reflector and the dome in a box and the power supply and all. Now to add the light to the shopping cart along with the battery, it's no longer going to be $169. It's going to be $269 plus tax, right? And this battery, just like most batteries do, they also feature a gauge here so you know where you are with power. And Zhiyun software, at least the latest software that they actually have here, it features a safety feature, because if you are actually powering this light only using the battery, you have to come here and press and hold the power button, and additionally rotate the dim button for the light to turn on, right? The W100 will power on regardless if you have the battery or on the power supply here. Now without the battery, you simply press and hold and it turns on normally. The CX100 has the same safety feature, so you have to press it short and then long, and then that's when the light turns on. By pressing the power button only like this, it does not turn on the lights. This is a safety feature. This light, as you can see, features a thread so you can actually place the light vertically, and this one here does not, and neither does the CX100, but I don't know what difference that will make with the light this way or that way. If you're using the light without the battery, you can actually use either one of these threads, but if you are actually attaching the battery here, make sure you use that thread for gravity purposes so everything gets balanced. This one, as you can see, has a larger LED bulb, and this one here has a smaller LED bulb. So it seems to be brighter, but if you measure with a light meter or whatever device that you want to measure, the output is identical on these lights here. However, the W100 is slightly more on the green side, and the X100 is slightly on the magenta side, and the CX100 is slightly on the green side. All three need minimum corrections, but you need some correction if you want to be extremely accurate between no magenta and no green. Now for the light and color accuracy, keep in mind two things. When you actually power on any LED light, wait 15 minutes, crank this up to 100%, and then this is when you're gonna have the most accurate part of the light because it needs a little time to warm up. Same exact way if you use your Spider X Pro and your software to calibrate your computer monitor. The instruction says keep the monitor on for at least 30 minutes, otherwise the calibration will be inaccurate. So same concept here. And going further with color accuracy, we are all filmmakers. We all need to have our projects delivered with our taste and our artistic side. So let's say that both of these lights are 5600 Kelvin on the dot, right? Raw footage, cool. As soon as you start processing the image, color correcting and all, besides the looks and LUTs that you guys are gonna throw in here, you are actually throwing these numbers out of the window because it will look nothing like 5600 degrees Kelvin, and your color correction will be either on the blue side, on the green side, on the magenta side, on the orange, yellow side. This is another thing to take a look at. Now let's talk about the reflectors here. This reflector is what comes with the W100 included with the package, and this is the reflector that comes included with the X100 package and also the CX100 as well. So people were complaining that this reflector provides a kind of a strong hot spot. I'm going to get back to that in a minute. But Zhiyun also has another size of reflector here, and apparently right now at least they only have one size. So this reflector here, it will provide you a more seamless lighting, but you're going to be requiring more power from this light because of the nature of how the reflector is designed. The Zhiyun reflector provides a more concentrated hot spot. A lot of people don't like hot spot reflections on a reflector, but I see that most reflectors, they provide that hot spot. But this one here is a more pronounced hot spot. Now, this is advantageous because if I took this little thing, to a dance floor in a wedding, and the light is all the way upstairs, shining down, because of this reflector here, and also the distance that the reflector is going to be towards the dance floor, the light is going to be wider as well, right? Because the light's going to be at least 35 or 50 feet away from the actual floor or the dance floor. So it's going to require less power. Instead of cranking this up to 100%, I could do probably 40%. And this light here with this reflector, you're probably going to have to crank it up to 100% to have the same effect of this reflector here. So again, here are the two lights on the background there, and the same distance, and each one has a different reflector. The W100 has a wider beam with almost no hot spots in the center, and the X100 has the reflector that concentrates the beam in the center, which again is ideal for wedding filmmakers on a dance floor or anything that you want to capture subject in the distance. So right now I have the X100 set to only 19%, while the W100, it has to be set to 100%, as you can see here. So measuring the beam here, you have a reading of f/6.2, and the X100 at only 19%, it has a reading of f/6.5. The W100 you can purchase as is with the light itself and the reflector and a little dome diffuser. You can also purchase this light by itself as well. The combo version comes with this adapter here, which allows me to hook up a 120 centimeter, like a 4-footer softbox if I want to. Now the next thing I'm going to comment here, it depends what kind of a filmmaker or what kind of user you are. The type of work that I do here, I required lights of 650 watts, 1200 watts. Most of the instances I have to take huge lights on set because the stuff they're going to present to me here, people near a strong wind on the background, I have to balance the exposure, you know what I'm saying. So I'm not the type of guy that's going to use these lights here just with a little reflector or a tiny little softbox here or with a little dome here. So because of this adapter here, which is part of the Zhiyun combo series, it comes included with this adapter, which is, by the way, made of almost everything is made of metal here. So I have the access of full Bowens mount. If I wanted to hook up 120 centimeters here, if I want to, which is a 4-footer softbox, I can. And when you actually place a softbox here, this thing is not going anywhere. This doesn't droop. I don't care how heavy the thing is, front heavy. This is not going to happen. But here's the thing, because they have the same hotspot reflector here, people are complaining that it provides too much of a hot spot in the center of the softbox. I honestly don't see that problem because I tested here with a smaller softbox and also with the bigger softbox. If your softbox have a diffusion in the middle, you're not going to have that much of a problem. Of course, it's not going to reflect as much light on the silver side of the walls or the softbox, but I don't see a problem. And I also try to imagine how this adapter will look like without the reflector here. It is physically impossible with this light and this light to achieve that because you have to mount the light inside the softbox in order for you to actually have the full reflection on the walls of the softbox as if it was like a strobe with the whole thing exposed, right? So what I did was, either with these lights, either one is the same thing. So I was trying to get the LED beam here as close as possible to the actual Bowens mount, but what I saw was some strange things on the side of the softbox, so that doesn't really work. So you do have to have those reflector built-ins on the actual Bowens adapter that Zhiyun makes because I tested both here. Fan noise, both of these lights, they have a quiet fan, but this one here is near silence, and this one here, it's quiet, but it is louder than the X100 or the CX100. Now regarding fan noise, both of these lights, they're set to 100%, as you can see here. 100%, 100%. So this is the fan noise. Let me stop this camera here. So this is the fan noise that you hear with this light. And this is the fan noise that you hear with this light. This is a lot quieter. However, on this particular light, on the app, you can actually set the fan to a smart mode, the max mode, or the lowest setting here, which means the fan is going to be quieter. But if you take this on a hot environment, you're going to overheat the light. So right now I have the light set to smart mode, which is the same thing that applies here. So I'm going to be wearing my microphone again and hear the fan. You can barely hear this fan. Now this one here, you can definitely hear the fan. Of course, you're not going to be at this distance from the light, but I'm just showing you that this fan is a lot quieter. And the CX100 is as quiet as this because it is the same exact fan, same exact hardware inside. So to purchase this light the way it is, without any adapters or anything like that, it just comes with the light itself, the power supply, the actual reflector, and the dome. It costs $169, and it doesn't include the battery, right? So adding both here to the shopping cart, the X100 combo version comes with the battery, a case, a ball mount, the light itself, which is also made of metal. It comes with the reflector and everything else. It costs $349. And of course, things go on sale as well, right? So right now, the combo version of the X100 from Zhiyun, instead of $349, is actually $314 right now with a 10% discount. Now comparing the W100 price-wise with the CX100 from Zhiyun, so this light is $169, that's without the battery. So the battery costs about $99 here, and the Zhiyun costs, I think, $119 or $117, somewhere there. So this is how much batteries cost. And again, this includes the battery for $199, and this one does not, for $169. The W100 has more shortcuts in brightness and color temperature than the X100 and the CX100 does, but this is just a matter of firmware updates. I'm not sure why the Zhiyun is not doing that, but every other light that Zhiyun makes, it has the same shortcuts. The W100 shortcuts go from 0 to 25%, 50, 75, 100, and back to 0. And of course, you can actually add in 1% increments. So on the Zhiyun here, the brightness variations on the CX100 and the X100 ranges from only 0 to 50 to 100. So the advantage to that is because if you are on a go to preserve battery power when you actually move the subject from an area in a park to another place. So if I have to press this 5 times from 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100, so maybe that's why they didn't put the firmware here, because every other light that Zhiyun makes has 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100. And you can also shortcut the color temperature as 2700 Kelvin, 3200, 4300, 5600, and 6500 degrees Kelvin. Now the CCT shortcut, it's missing a few things here, so it only goes from 2700, it jumps straight to 5600 degrees Kelvin and then 65. So they should update the firmware here from 2700, 3200, 4300, 5600, and 65. At the bottom of the light, you're going to find 2 1/4-inch screws here. Same thing the X100, the CX100 has. And here's where your power supply goes. And on top here, this is where your USB PD goes. I'm not sure what this terminal is because the battery that attaches to this light, you simply attach the USB cable from the battery to the USB-C right here. The power button is located right here on the side. All 3 lights can be powered by USB-C, a power supply, and also a battery. So right now I have both lights exactly 1 meter away without a reflector, just a bare bulb as you can see here. And my light meter is actually set to 100 ISO. And I'm going to be starting a test with the brightness here. So right now I have the X100 set to 5500 degrees Kelvin at 100%. And the reading is 4.9, 4.8, 4.9. That's the sweet spot right here. Now I'm going to do the same with the W100 at 100% here. As you can see, is at 100%. And again, the reading is f4.7, f4.8, so it's like 0.1 stop difference. Now I have set the light to 3200 degrees Kelvin, and I'm going to see if the light will change in brightness. 4.3, 4.3, 4.4. Now I'm going to be doing the same thing here with the light set to 100% as well, 3200 degrees Kelvin. And the previous reading from the W100 was 4.4. So the reading is 4.5, 4.5. Yeah, technically a 0.1 stop difference, but both of these lights seem not to increase the brightness regardless of the color temperature they dial here. I have actually demonstrated this video with the X100 here and other videos through the whole spectrum of the CCT, so to save time, I'm just letting you know that, both of these lights, they don't change the brightness as you dial different color temperatures. Now, as you can see, I have both lights with the reflector now, and there's a difference between the hotspot here and the not so hot spot over there. I'm gonna show you guys the advantages of this here. So right now I have the W100 set to 5600 degrees Kelvin at 100%. And this reflector here is going to read at this particular distance, which doesn't matter, 56.4 all around. So 56.4, I'm also gonna be on the corners there. 56, 56.4, and then here it reads about the same, 5.6. This is the range here. Now, if you are a wedding filmmaker and you want to save some battery power here, because this reflector, you don't need to crank that up so much. So I'm gonna crank this up to 100% here. Again, 5500 Kelvin, 100%. And it goes from 5.6.2 to f11.3. And of course, it's a narrower light right here, right? But just so you know, this is what you have. It's a huge difference. So instead of you cranking this up to 100%, you can actually save power and lower this intensity to probably, I don't know, 40% or something. While this one will have to be cranked up to nearly 100% to beat this one here. So this reflector on a dance floor is going to be more advantageous than having a reflector with not so much of a hot spot in the center. Now there's a tiny little button on top for those of you who don't read the manual to actually connect this light to the app. It's very simple, but you have to come here and make sure it is set to the app. You can also apparently purchase a remote control on a 2.4 gigahertz type of deal here. But let's set it to app. So in this app, you can actually scan to a NFC, which is unusual. This is the first time I've seen this here. And on settings, you have the language, probably Chinese and English, that's what I thought. And then the privacy policy, the support, check for updates, new version. Okay, let's update that. So update, oh, the app, okay. I thought it was the light. There you go, open. So it's updated. So to add the light, you have to do one more step. So let me add the fixture here. So I'm gonna go the old school way instead of the NFC. So let's do new fixtures. You select here. And as you can see, it does not connect because, again, you have to go through one more step. So you have to press and hold this button here until you see this thing flickering here. That's when you will see the light. So add fixtures, new fixtures, select, and then boom, paired. So the interface is pretty simple. You can actually adjust the light from 2700 Kelvin all the way to 65, and the intensity here, as you can see. And at the very bottom of the app, you'll see shortcuts from 25, 50, 75, and then I guess we have to slide this here to get to the 100%. And the same thing here with the CCT, 3200, 4300, 5600, and then I guess we have to slide this here to go all the way to 6500. The Zhiyun app has all this here without you having to slide, by the way. I'm not going to go through the whole app because I know most of you guys, you are impatient in watching this particular part of the video here, so I'm showing you the very basic here, what you need to know. And you can also power on and power off the light, same thing as the Zhiyun does. You can also create groups right here. Now, clicking on these three dots on the right, you have the fan mode options, so I recommend that you actually leave it always as smart mode, because if it needs more cooling, the fan is going to accelerate. Now the quiet mode, the fan will be quieter because it is a slower RPM, but if you're actually taking this light on a hot summer day, that might overheat the light. In the performance mode, the fan gets super loud. It will always stay this way here, which can be a good thing, especially if you're not doing something that the fan interferes with your recordings, and then I would leave this on max mode all the time. And you can also rename the fixture to anything that you want, or you can also delete the fixture. So here you have the gels. Right now is the CTB correction to blue without anything here. I'm gonna be clicking on full on the orange here, and it looks like this. Then the 3/4, 1/4, 1/8, and then the blue side, the CTB. So full looks like that, and as you go lower, that's when it changes to the orange here. So to some of you, it might be a little bit confusing if you don't understand how this stuff works. So going back to the orange and going back to the 1/8. So it goes by the opposite here. So the warm becomes cool, the cool becomes warm. Then you have the effects. You have to play the button here for each effect. So you have the fire. And of course you want the fire to be at 2700 Kelvin, right? And you can also adjust the rate as well to faster or slower. And to see everything at a glance here, you can actually press this little arrow up and then you see all the effects here. And that should be enough, at least for the most critical things regarding the app. On the Zhiyun app, you just select here, add device. There it is, add. It doesn't take that long, just a little bit. All right, so let's do another firmware upgrade here. Upgrade now. I love doing that here. So in this case, it's not updating the app, it's actually updating the light. And then hit done, the light reboots itself. And before I actually launch the light, you click on this little bulb here, it finds whatever light that you're trying to control. It's gonna flash a little bit so you know if this one here is actually the one that you want to control, especially if you have many of these lights on set. Then you want to click in here, immediately connects to the light. You can actually power on or off the light, and then brightness from 0.1% increments. And of course the color temperature from 2700 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin. But I also like the option that you can actually adjust the plus and minus for that fine adjustment, as you can see here. Or you can also slide your finger this way. Like slide it this way. And of course you have the sensitivity gel, but this one is easier to understand, you know, 3/4, and it doesn't change the colors to warm when you're actually at the blue. So this is actually more friendly. And the CTO goes as such. As you can see, just decreases the level of the orange, while the other app from COLBOR, it gets a little bit confusing for some users because when you are at the blue, it keeps changing to warm as you go down. And you also have a sensitivity pair on the bottom here that you can actually use your camera or something to match something. I'm never going to be needing to use this particular thing, so it's up to you to use it or not. And that's pretty much it for the app as well. These videos that I make here, this is actually a very tough decision and situation for me because they're both great lights. I can do more with this light than I can do with this here. I'm not the type of guy that will rely just on a little softbox which provides, you know, harsher shadows and all. I need bigger things, and this light comes with an adapter. It comes included with a battery, an actual case. So in my case, I will have to choose the Zhiyun for my own personal taste. You guys decide what you want. I showed you guys what this is and what it does, and I'll also show you guys what these are and what they do. So that's the end of my review. I hope you found the contents helpful. If you want to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, you know what to do. Drop them down in the comment section. I'll respond to everything that I see. So once again, thank you very much for being here, and I'll see you next time.